Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're joined today by Rebecca, who's from the distance learning team. In today's session, we're going to talk to you all about what distance learning is and what we offer at Leicester College. I suppose it's an area that's kind of really important at the moment, more so than ever, with people, not necessarily physically being on campus. Distance learning courses are probably something that might be applicable to a lot of people. So hopefully today's session will really help understand what distance learning is and give you a bit of an idea of how it could work at Leicester College and what we can offer to you. So yeah, I'll hand over now to Rebecca and she'll talk to you a bit more about distance learning.
Okay, so as Nick said, I'm Rebecca and I manage the distance learning provision at Leicester College. So the idea of today is just to give you a bit of an overview of what distance learning is, what subjects we have to offer, if it's funded, what you get out of it, and how you can enrol onto one of our many courses. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so distance learning is exactly what it says on the tin. It's learning from home. So it's an opportunity to gain a full level 2 qualification from the comfort of your own home. So you don't need to go to college, you don't need to go any classes. Everything is done where you want it to be done. Let me just turn my emails off, otherwise it's going to go. Okay, so they're fully funded if you're over 19. So I'll talk a little bit more about the funding now because that's the only confusing part really, though there's lots of support to help you if you do get a bit confused. So if you're over 19, they are fully funded, so you don't have to pay anything. If you're 19 to 24, to be able to access the funding, you need to already have a full level 2 qualification. So a full level 2 qualification can be 5 GCSE grade C or above. It could be a level 2 apprenticeship or an NVQ or a BTEC in any subject whatsoever. It doesn't have to relate to the distance learning course that you're doing. Or it could be that you perhaps just got 2 or 3 GCSEs and then went straight on to a level 3 qualification. If you're in doubt, just apply and then we can double check your prior learning. So whether you qualify if you already have the right qualifications. But that's just if you're 19 to 24. If you're 24 and over, it doesn't matter what qualification you already have. You also have to have lived in the EU for the past 3 years and currently live in England to be eligible for the funding. There's a whole variety of subjects available and I'll run through those a bit in a moment. These are short courses, so you're looking at between 6 to 15 weeks, depending on which course you enrol onto. Some people do the courses much quicker, it just depends what you already know about the subject, study time you have available, what other kind of things you're balancing with your distance learning, if you're studying. Some people equally take a bit longer. They might be poorly, have caring duties, have to do overtime at work, and then they would just contact us and we can review their dates and extend them for them. As long as you keep in touch and let us know what's going on, it isn't a problem if you do it early or if you do it a bit late, so you just need to keep us informed. Tutor support is available. So we have around 40 tutors at the college who are subject specialists and they're there to help you through the course, answer any queries. They provide robust feedback on your work and support with any resubmissions that you might have to do. You're not tied to a timetable, so that's the real joy of distance learning. So you're getting a qualification, it's funded, so it's free, and you don't have to be in a certain place at a certain time. So if your best time to study is 11 o'clock at night, that's not a problem. 3 in the morning, not a problem. Whatever suits you, that's how you can work it. So as it says at the bottom, you can study at a time and at a place that suits you. So we give you deadlines to work towards, then we can give extensions. So it really gives you an awful lot of freedom distance learning. Have the next slide, please. So I'm just going through some of the subjects we have. So the main sectors we work within are business, childcare and health and social care. So I've just named some of the different qualifications available. We have around 30 different courses, so this really is just a few to give you a taste of the kind of subjects. So, and these are all level 2 certificates, remember, accredited qualifications that you'll be gaining. So here you've got team lead, customer service, business admin, quality, we have a prevent course, and you can see the rest. There's quite a big choice there in business. Can I just have the next slide? Health and social care, so we have loads, so this is perhaps our biggest sector, so I've just put a few of the key ones in here, the most popular ones. Mental health awareness is a huge course that we do, really popular. End of life care, health and nutrition. One that's not on here, which is really popular, is the dementia course as well. And infection control is a biggie at the moment with everything that's been going on. Preparing to work in adult health and social care is a great one to do if you're looking to get into the care sector. Covers all legislation, communication skills, what person-centred planning is, how to work as part of a team. So it's an introduction to get into that sector. So if you're looking for a job in the health and social care sector, having this qualification on your CV is a real booster for you. The others you can either enrol onto because you perhaps work in the section, want to know more, you might have a relative with autism, so you'd like to learn more about that subject, or it could be that you want to completely change your career and try something new, and you're just building up that CV ready for the job interviews. Can I have the next slide, please? Childcare, so this is the other sector we work closely with. Children and young people's mental health is a hugely popular course. In this section, I've included specific learning disabilities, but that covers any age. And I've also included counselling, and at the minute, that is our most popular course. It doesn't make you a counsellor, it's introduction to the counselling skills required. So a lot of people will do this to then decide whether they want to progress onto a level 3 and a higher qualification to go into that as a career. So they're all the different subjects available. But like I say, this is just a selection of the courses we have on offer. There are a lot more, and you can contact the team to find out more information about any of them. So how do you access the learning materials if you're working from home? So you don't have to come into college for any of it, not induction, not enrolment, not to pick anything up. At the minute, because of lockdown, we have 2 options, fully online and Flipbook. When we're back at college, we'll have the postal option as well, which is our paper-based packs, where you would fill in the application form. We would then send you out a work pack and your textbooks to fill in, your deadlines to work towards, and you can either post back or email back your work to us to be marked by a tutor, and then you receive your resubmissions either via email or post, whatever you prefer. It really is a flexible way of learning. But at the minute, we're just sticking to fully online and Flipbook. So I'll just describe what both of those are now. So the next slide, please. So Flipbook. This is a new method to us, and we've introduced it purely because of the lockdown. So we've had to adapt really to what's been going on. So for this one, you would enroll online just like you would for any of the courses. We would then send you a welcome email with a link to the website, our learning portal, if you like, with your password and email address as your username. For the Flipbook, you are downloading a digital workbook. So you'd have a PDF copy of the workbook that we would normally have posted out to you. And then you'd submit all your questions and answers online. So it's all in one place, in one portal. You have your link, like in the pictures, you download your digital workbook. So you would use that to then answer the questions, and then you click submit. It goes straight on to your tutor for marking, and then you receive feedback on the platform as well. I'll go on to the next slide. So fully online content. So both are online, but we call this our fully online content version because you don't download anything. Everything is interactive, so you'll watch videos, you'll have a virtual tutor guiding you through the platform, watch videos, there's content to read, there's checks on learning throughout. So you'll work your way through the platform, you'll do the learning, and at regular intervals, just like on the screenshot, you'll say, right, it's assessment time. There'll be a video to watch to give you an overview of what you've learned, and then you go in and you answer your questions, and you keep working through the course like that. Once you finish a unit at a time, click submit, and it goes straight onto your tutor. They will then mark it and give you very robust, very clear feedback. Resubmissions are quite common, especially in the first couple of units, because it's hard to know what's expected of you, but the tutor will guide you into how you can improve your answers next time, if any resubmissions are needed, and point out what are really good examples of your work as well, so you know what's expected later on. It auto saves as well, which is really good. You can never lose your work. Next slide, please. So what support is available? So it can be quite daunting doing a distance learning course, feeling like you're all alone at home and you're sitting there looking at question 4 and you haven't got a clue what they're asking for, really. So we have a dedicated student support team in the college, well, normally in the college, you're all from home at the moment, the administration team, and you can email those and say, look, I'm struggling, I'm not really sure what to do here, and they will put you in touch with a tutor who can either call you or email to give you support. So we do discussions over the phone, we can send out postal support if that's what you prefer, or we can do it via email. Once you've submitted your piece of work, you're given very constructive feedback on your work, as I've just said, and resubmissions are not uncommon, so don't get put off if you have to resubmit some of your questions. And the way to resubmit is really clear. You'll log on to the portal, and those ones you need to re-answer will be in red, and there'll be feedback. It won't just be, please look at this again, please answer again. It will tell you exactly what you need to go back to, what you need to read, and what you need to include to make sure you meet the learning outcome and can pass the qualification. And the really important thing to remember is you have lots of support at the deadlines as well. So it can be really daunting having this deadline in your head, this big red circle in your calendar where you've got to submit your work. But if you are struggling because any reason really, you're poorly, childcare duties, it's busy at work, you just haven't got around to doing it yet, we can give you an extension to support you through that as well. So don't ever feel like you're alone. Once you've started, if you need that support, just give us an email and we can help. Right, sounds great. How do I get started? So you just need to visit the Leicester College website, and I've put the screenshots on the slides. You search distance learning and a list of courses will pop up. You just click on the course that you want to do, and then the apply now button will pop up. You click on there and you fill it in and submit it. If you wanted to know a bit more about any of the courses, you can email the team on reamdlt@leicestercollege.ac.uk, or you can contact the college directly on the website and ask for your details to be passed on to the distance learning team. But that's how simple it is really to enrol onto your course. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, just like listening to that presentation, there's quite a lot of things that I suppose I wasn't completely aware of, like new things that you've brought in over lockdown, and it's really nice to see there's a lot of kind of ways that's going to keep people engaged without obviously being on site as a student at the college. So yeah, hopefully that's come across to people to show you that, you know, the idea of distance learning isn't kind of being left out, and you don't miss out from that much not being on campus. So it's kind of like there's a lot of opportunities to do this, whatever your situation is, and for people that it suits, I think it's a really good opportunity to kind of learn and do around your own sort of personal life and stuff.
Yeah, it's a really flexible way of learning. Most people really enjoy that. They can learn at their own pace and when they want to learn and what fits in with them. So they can carry on working. Because often if you attend a course, you have to go for a whole day, don't you? And then you miss a whole day in the office. You've still got to catch up at work. So it can be quite stressful sometimes, accessing education and study, but this is a flexible way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's important, like you say, that you've got support outside of that, even though you're not on site. And the fact that you don't actually have to go there to do any of the application process or the enrolment process, I think is really important as well, because it can all be done, you know, from home. So yeah. That's a really strong point for a lot of people. But yeah, there's a few sort of questions that come up quite often, and I thought it'd be good to just run through a few frequently asked questions that might come up and people might be interested to know. So the first one is, how long between each submission? So if someone's enrolled on a course, what's the sort of timescale between them? Yeah,
we normally do 3 weeks for each submission. So it's normally split into either 2 units or 3 units, depending on the course and the size of the units. So say that the qualifications made up of 6 units, you'd have 3 weeks to do the first 2 units, 3 weeks to do the next 2 units, and then another 3 weeks to do the final 2 units. So 9 weeks in total to get those in. If there's any resubmissions as well, so if you have corrections to do, we will add time on for that as well. So normally about 3 weeks.
Okay, that's cool. I suppose another thing sort of related to submissions and stuff, what's the scenario if someone doesn't pass a particular area? What's the process?
Okay, so if you get a resubmission, you're given the opportunity to resubmit that answer, and we will support you to do that as many times as needed until you pass. So the only way you could really fail is if you just stopped submitting your work or didn't listen to the feedback and didn't make the alterations required. But yeah, so if you get a referral, you have the chance to resubmit once, twice, 3 more times if needed, but that's never normally needed. Normally it's just once more, they just add a bit of detail on there. It's normally because of key terms, because the question might ask you to describe or explain, and the student has just perhaps listed. So they've got all the key information there, but not presented it in a way that meets a level 2 requirement. So normally the feedback will be great points covered here, but I need you to demonstrate that you can describe an example of this would be, and we would give them an example of a description and then ask them to go and revisit that question and resubmit.
Yeah, and I guess it's important to have that kind of that leniency and understanding of people's interpretation of stuff, because obviously they're not, you know, it's not quite as simple as having someone there, you know, on site. So it's kind of, yeah, I think it's good to do that.
The feedback is really supportive, yeah, because it can be hard when you're sat there and you've got your books, you've got your laptop open, and knowing what the tutor is expecting from you, because there's no word count for a level 2 qualification either. But once they've done that first unit and had that feedback and that guidance, they normally fly through the rest of the course. And within the learning material, it does give you lots of top tips and points to avoid referrals. It's all there from the start, but sometimes you just need someone to point things out to you or describe it a bit clearer.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of like the sort of more physical side of distance learning, obviously things are a bit different at the moment, but do people get to meet their tutors at any point?
No, they never meet their tutor. Once they submit the first piece of work, they will get a welcome email from their tutor with all their contact details saying, hello, my name's Rebecca, I'll be marking your work, I've just received it, I'm looking forward to having a good look at it. Any problems, please give me a call or an email. Occasionally for local learners, if they've really struggled and wanted that one-to-one tutorial, we have offered it, but that's quite rare. So normally, no, you wouldn't meet your tutor, but you might talk to them on the phone. It just depends how much support you as an individual needs. So some students will just have that welcome email and they'll get their feedback and they'll be really happy with it. Other students might have a lot of dialogue via email with their tutor.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess it's not geared towards that type of learning, but I think, like you say, being adaptable is really important, and
everyone's got to adapt to what that learner needs. Yeah,
exactly. Next question is to do with extensions. What's the policy on getting extensions on work?
Yeah, we can give you extensions. I mean, it is meant to be a short course between 6 to 15 weeks. So a year is perhaps pushing it a bit. So we try and give you realistic deadlines and work with you so you can successfully complete the course. But yeah, you have to call us, you have to contact us to let us know. If you don't submit work, then we'll just think you want to be withdrawn. So you need to keep in touch and work with us to agree those deadlines.
Cool. Just got a question about funding. So how does it work? Do the courses cost money, and if so,
if you meet the funding criteria, then they are free, and pretty much everybody does really who's applying. So it's an adult course. You have to be over 19. The sticky bit is the 19 to 24-year-olds, where you have to already have a full level 2 qualification. And people don't always know what that means. They're not quite sure. They can't quite remember what they got. So if you contact us, you put your application in and we can check that for you to see if you're eligible or not. If you're over 24, then it doesn't matter what qualification you already have, you are eligible for funding. We do give you an initial assessment to do, which is very short, which is just one question, just to check that you can work at a level 2 and that it's right for you. So there's also that to consider. If you're not quite ready for a level 2, we will often refer you to a different department within the college to support you to get you ready to do a level 2. And also, if you're 19 to 24 and aren't eligible for funding, we'll put you in touch with the careers team and look at what options are available for you.
Cool. And just to reiterate as well, for anyone watching, obviously, if you do have specific questions around some of the things that we've covered, please feel free to drop a question in the comments now, or I guess they can contact yourself, Rebecca, or your team with specific questions around distance learning.
Yeah, no, definitely, please do. I think sometimes people think it's a bit too good to be true, but it really is true. You can gain a level 2 qualification from home for free.
Yeah, you got me tempted to do it now.
Good.
Some of the other things that we get asked quite a lot is stuff we've already kind of covered, but probably worth going over again. So will you attend college on a distance learning course?
No, you won't ever have to attend college on a distance learning course. Everything's done remotely from home, by email, telephone, text, all that kind of thing, the post. You don't have to attend.
Cool. I know you mentioned earlier about qualifications with counselling and stuff like that. Distance learning courses, are they a recognised qualification?
Yeah, they're a recognised qualification. They're certificates, they're level 2 certificates. Because some people do ask this. They tend to think that if they do preparing to work in an adult social care course, they will become a social care worker. You need a degree for that. You need to go to university or do it via FE. So these qualifications are your stepping stones, but they are recognised qualifications. They will last you a lifetime. You can take them with you to job interviews, put them on your CV. So they're very useful things to have. The same with health and nutrition. People ask a lot, will this make me a health and nutritional expert? A level 2 won't. You'll need to progress onto that, but this will definitely be your first stepping stone onto gaining that full qualification for that career change.
Yeah, I think that's the key point really as well. It's like this is a really good starting point for pursuing a particular sort of direction. And I think
it's quite good for dipping your toe in the water as well, because a lot of people want to be teaching assistants, so they'll come and do the introducing children and young people, caring for children and young people, and they might look at that and decide, oh, there's a bit more legislation in that kind of topic than I thought there was going to be, and it might make them go on to a different avenue. Same with the counselling, they may think, yeah, I'm going to be a really good counsellor, I'm really interested in this, but when they look at the background a bit more, they may decide, perhaps this isn't for me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's kind of a lower level of commitment than enrolling on a full-time course.
Yeah, they're also a good way to get back into education as well, because it can be quite daunting if you're keen to get back into study, but you're worried about walking into that classroom for the first time. So to be at home studying in your own environment, without the added pressure of a classroom all looking at you, or that fear of being asked a question in front of everybody, you don't know the answer to it. Distance learning removes those barriers and those fears and really helps improve your confidence with your learning.
Cool. And I know you mentioned this earlier, but how long do the courses take to complete on average, or typically?
Yeah, it depends which one you're doing. So a really short one like Equality and Diversity takes 6 weeks. The bigger one like Mental Health Awareness, you're looking at 15 weeks. It just depends how big the qual is. Some people do it much quicker. It depends what you already know about that subject as well, and how recently you've studied. So if you're just coming back to study for the first time after a good few years out, it might take you a little bit longer to get started, get your head around it. Where if you're fresh out of, I don't know, you've just done an apprenticeship and you're moving on to this, you're more used to the discipline required with the study. So yeah, 6 to 15 weeks, something longer if people perhaps have other things going in their life and they need to have a few extensions. But most people definitely within that time frame.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a benefit for a lot of people, being able to do it at their own pace. Some people might want to complete as quick as possible. Others might want to just kind of work around.
Yeah, no, definitely we get that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I think that covers most of the sort of commonly asked questions and stuff. We have had a few questions coming in. Most of them are not strictly distance learning related. So just want to advise anyone who's asking about courses and the situation with the college opening and stuff, please go to the Leicester College website, and we are regularly updating the information on that as per sort of government guidelines and stuff, and what we think is safe. So yeah, if you've got any further questions about that, please contact the student services team or your course leaders if it's about your course. But yeah, is there anything else that you kind of want to say about distance learning today, Rebecca, or anything?
No, just that it's
a
brilliant opportunity to gain a qualification from the comfort of your own home. They are quite addictive. I did 5 in 1 year because you get a great sense of achievement once you've done them. So I would definitely recommend having a look on the website, and if one takes your fancy, enrolling.
Definitely, yeah. Now's a better time than ever, really, isn't it? So yeah, I would encourage everyone to do that as well. Thanks a lot for being with us today, Rebecca, and thanks to everyone who's tuned in. You can catch us same time next week in the morning session at 11 a.m. We've got a live Q&A with apprenticeships. So if you've got any questions about apprenticeships, please do come and get involved in that. And if you'd like to know more about distance learning, we've dropped some links in the comments. And yeah, please visit the website to find out more about the courses and get in touch with Rebecca with any questions. All right, thanks a lot for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.